Hi, my name is Dr. David Larsen, and let's talk about jazz. Today we're going to try and tackle probably the most complicated question we're going to have for this entire course, which is, what is jazz? How can we define it? How can we tell it apart from any other style of music out there? On the surface, jazz is just what it says it is. It's music. It's something for people to enjoy, to dance to listen, to be a part of movies, life, entertainment. But it also carries with it a lot of social questions about race and ethnicity and cultural norms in America and all of these kind of things that we're going to tackle. But that still isn't necessarily helping us answer the question, what is jazz? So from a purely musical standpoint, the easiest way to define jazz would be simply to say it's improvised music. Now, what does that mean? That seems like such a broad term, and it doesn't even take into consideration swing or any of the other things that we might associate with jazz. And that's because jazz is really just an umbrella for music that features improvisation. Now, whether the improvisation is small and happens infrequently, or the entire piece is improvised, jazz music really at the core is about improvisation. During the swing era, when the big bands would be playing in big cities like New York and Chicago, when the musicians would finish at the end of the night, they wouldn't sit around necessarily writing new arrangements for the next day. They'd actually go down to the jam session so they could work on their improvisation, because that was really the thing that everybody was trying to master from the get-go. Musicians like Louis Armstrong became known for not only his beautiful tone and his brilliant ideas, but his improvisation. He was hired by Fletcher Henderson because he was the best trumpet soloist anyone could think of at the time. And again, that just goes to our heart of our definition, which is improvised music. So, what is improvisation? Well, improvisation is very simply spontaneous composition. Much like this rambling speech I'm giving you here, I'm just making this up off the cuff. I know the rules of English. I know that there's periods and punctuations and commas and all that, but I'm in essence using those rules to create something new on the fly. And this is what happens in improvisation as well. When a musician improvises a solo, it doesn't mean they're recreating music from the start. It actually means that they're just simply playing things that are predefined by the musical system and creating some kind of melody from that. Be it very melodic and nice to listen to, or incredibly dissonant and harsh, it's still just using the framework that's predefined by the music. So when a jazz group gets together, the core of what they're doing is they're actually just figuring out how to improvise over whatever style, chord change, melody, or anything else they decide to work with. And sometimes, let's face it, they'll just look at each other and start playing without defining anything, and they'll just figure it out as they go by listening to what's going on around them. So as we explore more in the world of jazz, these are some elements you want to keep in mind. You want to be focusing on the improvisation, on the solo work. You want to be focusing on how the parts interact. Because even though the drummer is just playing a simple ride pattern, that ride pattern is actually improvised. It's built off some kind of core feel, but it's always changing. It's constantly evolving, and it's reacting to the music around it. And this is one of the differences between a jazz drummer and what we might call a beat or a steady groove like in a rock tune, where the drum groove is the same every single measure. In jazz, it can change constantly and never once repeat in the entirety of an entire song, because again, it's improvised. If you're enjoying learning about this, please subscribe to the channel. But if you want to go more in depth, if you're just watching this video on YouTube, please feel free to visit the website of Spokane Falls Community College where this course is being taught. There's lots of great information you can get by enrolling as a student that isn't shared in these videos. Thanks so much, and have a great day.